The story begins with the leader of the Puja Gang, a ruthless criminal organization operating across South Korea. In the opening scene, he brutally murders a gangster named John without showing any mercy. The story then shifts to a prison where Steven is quietly spending his time inside his cell. Suddenly, chaos erupts as a violent fight breaks out in another section of the prison. A prisoner named Andy is being attacked by several inmates, but he fiercely fights back against them. The moment Steven arrives at the scene, all the prisoners immediately stop fighting. Seeing the respect everyone has for Steven, Andy mistakenly assumes that Steven has come to kill him, so he aggressively confronts him. However, Steven quickly calms the situation and prevents things from escalating. Shortly afterward, a prison officer informs Steven that John has been brutally murdered. The news devastates him because John was like a brother to him. In the past, Steven had taken the blame for crimes in order to protect John, which ultimately led to his imprisonment. While John was involved in organized crime outside prison, he had no connection to drug trafficking or several other criminal activities, making his murder even more suspicious. To understand why everyone in prison respects Steven, it is important to know his background. Years earlier, he was a member of an elite crime unit that played a major role in keeping South Korea safe from dangerous criminals. Because of his service, the authorities grant him a 2-day leave so he can attend John's funeral and pay his final respects. Determined to find John's killers, Steven visits Detective William, who is suffering from cancer. Many years ago, William's daughter was murdered by a criminal. Although he eventually caught the killer, the loss shattered him emotionally, leaving him with little desire to continue living. Steven tries to encourage William, but he refuses to listen. Before Steven leaves, William hands him a file and explains that Officer Angela recently brought him information suggesting that John was killed by a man named Ju Plan. Soon afterward, Steven contacts Angela, who is busy transporting several prisoners to another facility. Among the prisoners is the leader of the Tube Light Gang. At the same time, we are introduced to Jessica, a woman who has repeatedly come under police investigation due to numerous fraud cases.
As the prisoner transport convoy travels along the national highway, an unexpected attack suddenly takes place, setting the stage for a dangerous and action-packed confrontation. In the attack, the prisoner transport van is heavily damaged, and many officers are seriously injured. Taking advantage of the chaos, several dangerous prisoners manage to escape. At the same time, a group of masked attackers arrives and reaches Send, the boss of the Jumu gang. It becomes clear from their actions that the attack was never meant to rescue the prisoners. It was specifically organized to extract Send. Before the attackers can successfully secure him, Andy suddenly steps in and confronts them. A fierce fight breaks out between Andy and the masked men. During the confusion, Send seizes the opportunity and escapes from the scene. While fighting, Andy notices a distinctive tattoo on one of the attackers, an important clue that could help identify them later. However, before he can capture anyone, the attackers retreat and disappear. The story then reveals Andy's past. Before becoming a prisoner, Andy was a police officer. During an operation, he accidentally killed a criminal while trying to make an arrest. As a result, he was convicted and sent to prison. Seeing Angela severely injured after the attack fills Steven with rage. Determined to get answers, he begins hunting down members connected to Ju Plan's organization. After a long and brutal series of fights, Steven discovers an important truth. The original leader of Ju Plan had been imprisoned but has now escaped. Even more shocking, the organization is currently being controlled by a new leader whose identity is known to only a handful of people. The story then shifts to police headquarters, where Chief Cup assigns Detective Choi a critical mission: capture all of the escaped prisoners as quickly as possible. Using intelligence gathered from various sources, Choi explains that the ambush on the highway appears to have been carried out to rescue the leader connected to Ju Plan. However, the chief orders him to stop focusing on theories and concentrate solely on tracking down and arresting the fugitives.
Soon afterward, Choi meets Officer William, who was once the respected leader of the Special Crime Unit. Seeing the veteran detective immediately puts Choi into deep thought. During their conversation, Chief Cup reveals new information to William, explaining that Send was one of the key figures involved in the creation and rise of the Ju Plan organization. However, Send's rise to power was incredibly fast. Before his arrest, he revealed a shocking secret. He was not the true leader of the underground gangs and organized crime network. According to him, the real masterminds were powerful individuals operating behind the scenes, including influential politicians and high-ranking police officers in South Korea. Their names were allegedly written inside a secret diary that could expose the entire criminal network. Because Send became a target of multiple assassination attempts while in prison, the authorities decided to transfer him to a secure location. Their real objective was to keep him alive long enough to obtain the diary and uncover the people behind the conspiracy. Unfortunately, the transport convoy was attacked before the plan could be completed, allowing Sen to escape. After hearing this information, William realizes that someone within law enforcement is secretly working with the underground criminals and leaking sensitive information to them. To deal with the growing crisis, Chief Jack asks William to reactivate the Special Crime Unit. Meanwhile, Detective Troy explains the team's history to his partner. 3 years earlier, this elite unit was responsible for eliminating drug trafficking operations and dismantling major criminal organizations across the country. The team consisted of 4 legendary members: the Butcher, Stephen, the Mad Dog, William, the Beast, Angela, and the Killing Machine, Tae-up. After describing the team's reputation, Choi tells his partner that if Chief Jack is bringing these people together, then the situation must be extremely dangerous. They need to solve the case before things spiral out of control. Elsewhere, William meets Andy and tells him that he knew Andy's father personally. According to William, Andy's father was one of the most honest police officers he had ever met. Because of that respect, William offers Andy a place in the newly reformed crime unit. In return, Andy's sentence could be reduced by 5 years once the case is solved. The offer leaves Andy speechless. Later, Stephen informs William that Tae-up refused to join the team because he has completely devoted himself to a religious life. Looking at Andy, Stephen bluntly tells him that if he is going to work with them, he needs to do the job properly and stop acting like an amateur. William then briefs the team on the escaped prisoners. The first fugitive is Palak, a terrifying serial killer. He murdered both his wife and a professor in the past. Even more disturbing, he enjoys targeting elderly people and women. Because of the brutality of his crimes, he was sentenced to death by the government. The second fugitive is 1-inch Egg, a notorious rapist and repeat offender. Besides sexual crimes, he has committed numerous other offenses and has successfully escaped from prison several times before. Finally, William introduces the third criminal. The moment Stephen sees his file, he immediately tells William, "He's mine." From Stephen's reaction alone, it is obvious that he shares a dark and personal history with this dangerous fugitive, making their inevitable confrontation even more intense. However, William quickly reminds Stephen that their mission is only to capture the escaped criminals, not seek personal revenge. The fourth fugitive on their list is Jessica. The moment Stephen sees her file, he recognizes her and tells the team that he knows exactly where she can be found. A short time later, Stephen tracks down Jessica's partner. As soon as the man spots him, he tries to run away, but Stephen easily catches him and forces him to cooperate. Using the information he provides, the team successfully captures Jessica. Just before she is sent back to prison, Jessica makes an interesting offer. She claims she can help the crime unit capture Kim, another dangerous fugitive. According to Jessica, Kim survives by manipulating women. He constantly tricks them into believing he loves them and then uses them as hiding places whenever he is on the run. Believing her information could be valuable, William temporarily brings Jessica into the operation. If she helps solve the case, her prison sentence could also be reduced. After following several leads, Jessica eventually tracks down Kim's girlfriend. The team approaches her and reveals the truth about Kim's criminal activities. Before long, Kim realizes that the police are closing in on him and immediately attempts to flee. However, the crime unit moves quickly and captures him before he can escape.
Officer Choi then takes Kim into custody and transports him for questioning. Not long afterward, William suddenly suffers a serious medical attack and is rushed to the hospital. His condition reminds everyone that time is running out. Meanwhile, Stephen goes after a gangster named Chun, someone he has known for years. After kidnapping him for interrogation, Stephen demands answers. "I want to know who killed the Tube Light leader and who murdered John." At first, Chun remains confident because many of his men are nearby, but that confidence quickly disappears. Stephen and his team brutally overpower every one of them, leaving Chun completely helpless. After getting what they need, the team leaves the scene. Later, the group arrives at the police station where Kim is being held. They take control of the interrogation and deliver a warning to Officer Choi. Captain Williams sent a message, "Stay out of our investigation." Under pressure, Kim finally begins talking. He explains that after escaping from the crime scene, he met several people at a bus station. After that, they headed toward Tagore Park. Beyond that point, he claims, he knows nothing. At the same time, the situation grows even darker when a mysterious figure known as 52 murders a police officer, proving that the conspiracy is far from over and that the people behind it are willing to kill anyone who gets in their way. Andy tries to stop the situation from getting worse, but a psychopath like Park has no intention of staying quiet. Soon, another police officer is murdered, and fear begins spreading throughout the city. Meanwhile, the crime unit approaches Sophia, the woman who was responsible for helping Park get back to prison in the past. They try to convince her to stay under their protection because her life could be in danger. However, Sophia refuses to cooperate and insists on handling things her own way. With no other option, the team apologizes for disturbing her and leaves. Unbeknownst to them, Park has been watching the entire conversation from a distance. After seeing the officers around Sophia, he quietly leaves the area. At the same time, Andy discovers CCTV footage showing Park meeting with Send. This immediately leads the team to believe that Send and Park are working together. Shortly afterward, Park arranges for his secret diary to be delivered to him, a diary containing dangerous information capable of exposing powerful criminals and corrupt officials.
Sophia later returns to work, unaware that Park has already killed several people connected to the case. Before long, the crime unit also arrives at the location. There, Andy spots Send and immediately begins chasing him. After a tense pursuit, Andy finally manages to capture Send. Elsewhere, Park is brutally torturing another victim. Jessica witnesses the horrifying scene and realizes just how dangerous he really is. Before Park can finish the job, Steven suddenly arrives. The legendary Korean monster wastes no time. He launches a savage attack on Park and completely overwhelms him in a brutal fight. Afterward, Send finally reveals the truth. He explains that the leader of the Tube Light organization is actually Yoshihara, the boss of the Yudo Gang, a powerful criminal syndicate responsible for countless crimes throughout Japan. Yoshihara's ultimate goal is to expand his influence and take control of South Korea's criminal underworld. Years earlier, Send provided Yoshihara with enormous amounts of money and gold. In exchange, Send introduced him to influential businessmen, politicians, and other powerful figures. These connections allowed Yoshihara to build an empire and become one of the most powerful crime bosses in the region. Using his wealth and influence, Yoshihara later flooded the country with new illegal drugs that began destroying the younger generation of Korea. John strongly opposed these operations and tried to stop them. Because of his resistance, Yoshihara ordered his murder. Witnessing John's fate changed everything for Send. Realizing how dangerous Yoshihara had become, he decided to turn against Yoshihara. That was when he created the diary, a document containing the names of major criminals, corrupt officials, and powerful individuals connected to the organization. Just as Send finishes revealing the truth, the situation takes a shocking turn. Chief Jack suddenly arrives and points a gun at everyone in the room. The revelation is devastating. The man they trusted to lead the investigation may have been involved in the conspiracy all along, leaving the entire crime unit trapped in a deadly standoff. After that, one of Yoshihara's men arrives and takes Send away. The moment Andy notices the tattoo on the man's body, he realizes something shocking. Jack is working with Yoshihara. This means Jack intentionally sent Williams' team after Send, planning to eliminate everyone once the mission was complete and all loose ends were tied up.
To cover his tracks, Jack ties Steven, Andy, and Jessica together and sets the place on fire. As the flames spread rapidly, the three find themselves trapped with no way out. However, Steven uses all his strength to break free and rescue the others. During the escape, Andy suffers serious injuries and loses consciousness. Desperate to save him, Steven performs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. When Andy finally wakes up, he is completely embarrassed by what he sees and nearly throws up. Steven quickly reassures him, joking that nobody witnessed the incident. easing the tension for a moment. Soon afterward, William and Detective Choi arrive at the scene. Choi informs Stephen that he has finally located their target. A flashback then reveals that Stephen had previously made a deal with Officer Park, believing him to be one of the few honest officers left in the force. Together, they agreed to work against the growing criminal conspiracy. The story then returns to the present. Choi provides the location of a factory where Yoshihara's organization and several other gangs are operating. Without wasting any time, Stephen and his allies launch a full-scale assault on the criminal headquarters. Inside the hideout, Yoshihara kills Send and congratulates Jack for his loyalty. However, when the crime unit suddenly appears, Yoshihara begins attacking Jack as well. Since the operation has been exposed, he no longer trusts anyone and believes Jack may have betrayed him. An intense battle erupts throughout the facility. After fighting through countless enemies, Stephen finally reaches the man responsible for John's murder. At first, Yoshihara gains the upper hand and proves to be an extremely dangerous opponent, but Stephen refuses to give up. In a brutal final showdown, he breaks Yoshihara's arm and ultimately defeats him. By the end of the story, the entire criminal operation collapses, the corrupt network is destroyed, and the surviving criminals are either arrested or eliminated. Stephen then hands Sen's diary over to William. The diary contains the names of powerful criminals and corrupt officials who still need to be brought to justice. Inspired by Stephen's determination, William regains his will to live, successfully undergoes treatment, and prepares to continue the fight against crime. Motivated by everything they've been through, William reforms the crime unit once again and welcomes new members into the team.